Shalom all. I wanted to give a little bit of a testimony. I had a wonderful morning this morning with my son. We went for a really nice walk in nature and we were just chatting, just normal, just talking, laughing and joking with each other, taking in everything that was around us. And it was so wonderful. And the reason I say that, and it might sound like a really weird thing to say, but two things for the reason I say it. One, he's 15. And if you're watching this now, Sid, I love you lots. But he's 15. And those of you who are mums of boys, teenage boys, will know, or dads of teenage boys, will know it's difficult sometimes to get words out of them. But I'm so proud of how much he's matured and grown. This weekend in the world is classed as Easter. If you're in the walk that I'm in, we don't celebrate Easter in the way that the world does. Passover for most of us was last weekend, and we celebrate the biblical feast instead. But whichever way you look at it, and whichever weekend it was, our Abba Yahuwah had to turn his face away from his son this weekend, or last weekend, when he died. Because in those last few hours of YaHUsHas' death and crucifixion, he became sin for us. In becoming sin for us, Yahuwah couldn't look at him. He had to turn his face away from his own son. That's why YaHUsHas said, and I use the English words because I'm not very good at pronouncing the others, my God, why have you forsaken me? Yahuwah, Yahuwah, why have you forsaken me? Alua, Alua, why have you forsaken me? However you want to say it. And Yahuwah had to turn his face away, and I cannot imagine the pain that he would have gone through when he did that. When both of them had to go through that. Now I know there's contention. Yahuwah is YaHUsHas, Yahuwah isn't YaHUsHas, and to be quite honest, at this point it doesn't matter. Because he sent down a manifestation of himself in human form to live like we did, who was completely sin-free until that point. And he took on the world's sins, both past, present and future sins, so that we could be free. Now my testimony is that 8 months ago, August 2024, I walked away from everyone and everything. And I'm not minimizing when I say that in any way. I walked away. Sorry, I'm not over the top about that when I say it. I walked away from my job, my home, my family, my friends, and not least of all, my son. I didn't necessarily do it in the right way, but my reasons for doing it, as numerous as they were because I needed to heal. Heal from what was a very, very bad relationship that ended at the end of 2023. It wasn't bad for the whole time, but it was bad towards the end. And it was a very codependent relationship. And I realised from a few people, close people that I spoke to at the time, that I was codependent. And when I joined a CODA program, CODA meetings, it became even more obvious that I was codependent. I now call myself a recovering codependent. I still have my moments, but on the whole, I'm grateful to Abba YaHUsHas to say that I am healed by YaHUsHas stripes. Yeshayahu, or Isaiah 53:5. He took our iniquity and our pain. And on the whole, he's taken all of that away from me. And yes, you may have noticed that my eyes look a little red. I have been crying a little bit, not much. Gratitude tears. I got back in touch with my son in February this year. February 19th, for the first time I saw him. I'd started to get back in touch with my family last November, but it was a slow progress road, because obviously a lot of people didn't like or appreciate why I'd done what I'd done. I'm hoping they're starting to appreciate it now, because I know I've changed, and I know from what some people have said that they've seen it too. Even my son says I'm a better driver these days because I'm less preoccupied or distracted, and we have more fun. We may not spend masses of time together because he's 15, doesn't always want to be with his mum, and that's okay, because he's a good kid. And the reason why I was crying and why I've pulled over to do this video is because two things just dropped into my head. One, leaving my son behind, as hard as it was nowhere near as hard as what YaHUsHas and YaHUsHas went through during Passover. And two, now that I'm back with my son, I appreciate him so much more. Even just a few hours at a time. And maybe one day it'll be longer. But that's okay. It doesn't have to rush. It doesn't have to be on my timing anymore, because nothing, and this is the thing about being a codependent, you're very impatient, very controlling at times. I had got like that. It's not a good place to be. For your own mental health, it's not a good place to be when you grip onto somebody so tightly that you're literally white knuckle riding with them. It's not a good thing. And I'm grateful to say that with my son now, on the whole, I just appreciate my time with him and love him. Hopefully, and if you're watching this, Sid, hopefully you think the same. Hopefully in the way that I'm supposed to love you. Just as your mum. Just as somebody to be there for you to talk to. Yes, I may say no to you from time to time. I may tell you off occasionally. But only because I love you. And because sometimes we all need telling off. We all need to be humbled. We all need to lose that pride. Jezebel's spirit is about control, manipulation, wanting your own way, wanting it now. Sometimes we need that mirror in front of us. And I'm grateful to say that on the whole these days, when I look in the mirror, I like me. No, actually, I love me. Like YaHUsHas loves us. And that's what he wants. He wants us to love ourselves. Not in the worldly way, not in the, I come first way, because we're there to serve others and help others. But there's nothing wrong with looking in a mirror and liking what you see, loving what you see, knowing that you're a good person. Not in a prideful way, not in a, I did it, because I didn't. He created me. He created me like this. And over the last year, he's helped reset me back to what he created. And I'm so very grateful to him. Hence the tears. Happy tears. Sid, if you are watching this, drop me a comment. Doesn't have to be much. Just love to see it. I love you. I love you, Sid. I love you all. But he loves you more. Don't ever forget that. Don't ever forget what YaHUsHas did for us. Shalom.